All right, so I can't really tell where this camera is facing. I mean, what it's showing. So, Lord willing, this is all right, Lord willing, this is lining up to where you can see. All right, okay. So first off, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as the Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. All right, and also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number. So this video, of course, all right, we're going to be going back into Revelation chapter 13, focusing on verse 12. All right, before we get there, we're going to read 1 through 11, and then along with chapter 12, and then we'll go into it a little bit. All right, so Revelation 13, verse 1, it reads, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his great seat, and the great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, okay, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwelt in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, that was verse 11. Now, before we go on, I want to read verse 17 and 11. It reads, And the beast that was, okay, Rome, and is not, even he is the 8th. Okay, this is the 2nd leg of the Roman Empire. It says, and is of the 7 that goeth into perdition. And this is what is going to happen. Doom to this place, all right? It's going to be no more. Speaking of America, all right? BKA to the men of the truth, Babylon the Great, also known, okay, this place is also known as the future site of the lake of fire. Now is this where all the Edomites are? No. Okay, over in the land, over in the Holy Land, all right? If you've been listening, paying attention, all right, there are also, Edomites are spread all over the place, just as Israelites are, okay? But this place here is going to be a part of not only the great salvation, but the great destruction that is coming to the earth upon our Lord's return. Okay, so that's what it means by goeth into perdition. All right, so now verse 12 of Revelation 13, it reads, and he, this beast, okay, exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, for you just clicking on this video or on this channel and haven't started at the beginning, all right, we went over, we've built up to where we are now from previous videos. Where this started was the video titled The Beasts, but first, Daniel chapter 2, okay, and the vision. All right, so we started there and we made it to here, but there are other videos titled Revelation 13:1, Revelation 13:2, Revelation 13:3, so on and so forth. All right, so if you are just now clicking on this channel, clicking on this video, and you find yourself a little bit lost, all right, go back, okay, and listen to those videos, and then catch up to this. All right, Lord willing, you'll do that. Okay. So let me read verse 12 again, and then there's something else I want to read before we go any further. So again, Revelation 13:12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right, so before we go any further in this, which I should have probably started with this, but that's all right as long as it's here. All right, we're going to go into the fair use. I'm going to read this aloud, all right? Fair use statement. Because we are about to view some other videos, all right? And that'll give them excuse to take this down, all right? So, fair use. It says, fair use is a doctrine in the United States copyright law that allows for limited use of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders, such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation or incorporation of copyrighted material in another author's work. Okay, also copyright disclaimer. All right, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All rights and credit go directly to its rightful owners. No copyright infringement is intended. Now, does it matter to Esau that we read these things out? Does it matter to Esau that this thing that we just read here is something that is in his laws? No. All right, they'll still find a way to not hold up to their word. Not even their word do they hold up to. All right, so we just want to read that out the way. Get that out the way, because when they do come against the truth, right, all they're doing is building a testimony against themselves. All right, they can't help to be who they are. So we don't expect them to even abide by their own copyright disclaimers or fair use definitions. Okay, but we read these things to show the people that we are, all right, acting within the laws, to put this truth out there. All right, we're not just stealing these things, we're going by the law. All right, so now that we got that out the way, the easiest way for us to go into and understand Revelation 13 and 12, as far as explaining it, is I want to go straight to the point. I'm going to use a couple of videos that were referenced in another brother's work. I'm going to use those same videos, only I'm going to play them in their entirety here. They're not that long. One is around 5 minutes, one is around 7, give or take a few. And then maybe after that, we'll go into a couple of other things, okay, to explain how this beast exerciseth all the power of the first beast, and how this beast, all right, causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship that first beast. Okay. So keep in mind that your manner of life, all right, you don't need a chalkboard and some chalk in order to teach, all right, your manner of life, the way you live, how you conduct yourself, all right, you can teach in those ways. This is why it's important to this verse here. Let me find this. This is Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now you got to realize that Esau also, well, spiritual demon Satan also knows the scriptures, all right? And these people follow after or do the bidding of the spiritual demon Satan, okay? But they don't know that spiritual demon Satan works for Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, all right? With that, all right, what they do is they train up all the world, including, well, all of us, all right, except for the remnant and the elect have came out of their way of life. We have stepped outside of their training, all right, which is what they do, okay? They train the world and them in it, okay, to have their manner of life, okay, if you can understand. All right, by showing you things over and over, by acting certain ways over and over, by pushing what they deem important. Or even if they don't deem it important, they deem it important enough to push you in a certain way so that you are not in the ways of the Lord. Okay? So this is what we're going to do, though. We're going to show how he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, which is Rome. All right, this is the second leg of Rome, being America, or Babylon the Great. And also how he causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Okay? You'll understand, Lord willing, once we get these videos started, all right? So give me a second. All right, right here is the title, Eternal Culture of Ancient Rome, Part 1, all right? Put up by Scott Bartell 17 years ago, okay? So this is what we're going to listen to. Here we go.
Symbol offering peace, as they could only be grown during peacetime. The olive branch appears on the official seal of the president, which has been in use since...
Hold on. All right, here we go. Listen up now.
Rome, the eternal city. It was founded over 2,700 years ago by twin brothers Romulus and Remus. For centuries, the people and emperors of Rome ruled the known world. Through war and conquest, they dominated the entire Mediterranean and controlled a territory which spanned 3 continents. It was home to legendary figures like Julius Caesar and Augustus, but also to crazed emperors Nero and Caligula. Rome's history is a violent one. It was a civilization founded on bloodshed and lust, and would eventually destroy itself in the same manner. But is that all Rome had to offer? Typical perceptions of Rome include constant gladiator games, wine-fueled orgies, and prosperity among all. These are all dramatized visions of a glorious culture that was far more similar to our own than it was different. Their influence and contributions can be felt even today. By examining the history and culture of ancient Rome, we're able to see that not all of Rome died in its collapse. every day were surrounded by common symbols which owed their meaning and lasting appeal to the Romans. For instance, the Great Seal of the United States shows an eagle clutching arrows in one leg and an olive branch in the other. Imagery such as this is usually interpreted as uniquely American. The eagle, however, was not always a symbol for American nationalism. In Roman mythology, the eagle was the companion of the chief god Jupiter, and it was used widely throughout Rome, adorning statues and temples. Its religious associations would have been widely known throughout the Roman world. It was also used by the military, which carried standards with the bird of Jupiter mounted on top. In recent history, others have used the eagle to create a memorable link with the ancient past. Napoleon Bonaparte's Grand Army used it to decorate their standards, banners, and uniforms. It was also incorporated into the emblem of the consulate, after Napoleon declared himself first consul, a title also derived from ancient Rome. During World War II, the Nazis held party rallies and demonstrations while carrying Roman standards which were topped with the eagle. At the same time, fascist dictator Benito Mussolini, who envisioned Italy becoming a new Rome, also used ancient Roman symbols, including the fasces. It was a tool carried by Roman civil servants known as lictors, in order to preserve the peace or hand out punishment. Even the word fascism is derived from the ancient Roman tool. It also appears in numerous forms throughout the United States, representing strength or justice. The olive branch was also used in everyday life by the Romans. Olives were a precious commodity in the ancient world, despite the amount of labor required to produce them. Extending an olive branch to an enemy, therefore, became known as a symbol offering peace, as they could only be grown during peacetime. The olive branch appears on the official seal of the president, which has been in use since 1880, and on the United Nations flag. In the mid-1st century BC, Julius Caesar replaced the old Roman calendar, which had 355 days, with a new one, reorganized with 365 days, with one leap year every 4 years. The renovated Julian calendar is essentially identical to the calendar system used today. Originally, the older style calendar put the beginning of the new year in March, at the start of spring. Julius Caesar had the new year coincide with the 1st of January. Most of the names for the months are derived from the original Roman names as well. January from Janus, god of doorways and beginnings. February is derived from the Roman festival of Februa. March is the month of Mars, the god of war. April comes from the Roman month Aprilis. May for the Roman Maya, goddess of spring. June is named after the queen of the gods, Juno. July gets its name from Julius Caesar, who rededicated the month after himself. August was renamed in the same fashion after Augustus, first emperor of Rome. And September, October, November, and December simply mean the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Certain religious festivals from ancient Rome were replaced with Christian holidays as paganism declined under alternate names but with similar meaning. A Roman festival known as Lupercalia celebrated fertility and health. It was held February 15th and is the modern equivalent of St. Valentine's Day. Often used as a symbol for the modern holiday is the chubby winged child known as Cupid, which was the Roman god of erotic love. In December, Romans would honor the god Saturn during the week-long celebration of Saturnalia. This was held at the end of the month and is believed to be the basis for celebrating Christmas during this time. One of Rome's often forgotten but inescapable contributions is their language. Although it is not spoken directly, the majority of words in the English language, at least 60% and probably higher, are derived from Latin. Many common names such as Marcus or Julia are Latin words. Even the name America is taken from a Latinized version of Amerigo, the person it was named for. Other languages spoken around the world also developed from Latin. They're known collectively as the Romance languages. The main ones include Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Italian. Including English-speaking countries, it's estimated that over 1 billion people today speak a language which traces its roots to Latin. Another important contribution from ancient Rome in use today is their alphabet. Numerous writing systems around the world, English included, base their alphabet on the Latin characters. With the exception of J, U, and W, the capital letters of the English alphabet are identical. Besides the basis for languages, Latin is also used in the Linnaeus taxonomy system, developed by Carl Linnaeus in the 18th century to classify and arrange organisms. Thanks to Linnaeus and Latin, humans are scientifically classified as Homo sapiens. Many legal terms in use today, such as habeas corpus, in absentia, stare decisis, and others, are taken directly from Latin.
Hey, Mom? Where are you off to?
Tennessee.
You're going to Tennessee?
Yeah.
All right, about to get into part 2.
At the heart of Rome was its government. During the Republic era, a code of laws known as the 12 Tables were created, which protected the rights of all citizens. Roman law would eventually spread and become the foundation for numerous law systems throughout the world. Because of the 6th century Emperor Justinian, who collected all works of law and assembled them in a single doctrine, Roman law was preserved until modern day. In one form or another, it was the basis for most of the European law systems until the end of the 18th century, and even the English common law, which helped influence the U.S. Constitution, borrowed from the ancient laws of Rome. Even in America, founding fathers like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams hung on every word of Roman writers like Sallust, Tacitus, and Cicero, considering every character they wrote worth studying. George Washington was considered the Cincinnatus of America for his reluctance to hold power and his patriotism for his country. Because of this, many statues were created with Washington dressed in Roman-style clothing. Many of the buildings of ancient Rome have been lost to time, but we're left with a small piece of their majesty. One of the most influential pieces we have is the Pantheon, a temple which was dedicated to all the gods. Its design, which is quite different than other temples in the Roman world, due to its square column front and large dome interior, has been replicated in almost every state capitol building in America, including the Capitol in Wisconsin. The Emperor Trajan was centuries ahead of his time when he built what is considered the first multi-story shopping mall. It was equipped with the ancient equivalent of all the stores we might find in a modern mall. Sports fans as well owe some debt to the Romans for their architectural endeavors. Modern stadiums, which itself is a Latin word, are modeled after amphitheaters, a must in any great Roman town. The most famous of them is undoubtedly the Colosseum. Romans also loved going to the races at the Circus Maximus, a large oval track used for chariot racing. The Romans, like audiences today, enjoyed a good spectacle, often betting on their favorite gladiator or charioteer. There were also inventions like the hypocaust system, which circulated warm air through chambers beneath flooring. It was especially useful in bathhouses where heated floors were a necessity. This subfloor heating is similar to a system in homes today, centuries after it was first conceived. The empire eventually came to an end, destroyed by barbarians. Ancient Rome exists now only in its legacy. As the saying goes, not only do all roads lead to Rome, but most of our culture does as well. The people of Rome were very similar to the people of the world today. They worked the land, loved to be entertained, and were extremely resourceful and creative. The people in the cities created a melting pot of ethnicities, each contributing a bit of their heritage to the Roman way of life. One could argue that without Rome, our world today could never exist. In the words of Professor Charles Hershey, Rome is modern, progressive, a present force among the cities of the world, even as she is the treasure house of the ages. He continues, ancient Rome has left to her successors much more than her forums, her temples and arches, and her arenas. She has bequeathed her civilization, including her laws, her customs, her literature, and her philosophy. They are a part of our civilization today.
right, so it was some of that. And of course, with everything, all right, you have to go look into these things yourself, okay? Chew the meat, spit out the bones. But as you can see there, all right, Rome left a lot of things on this planet, all right? People think that it's gone, but it is not. This is indeed the second leg of Rome. Now, I thought I was going to, let's see. I thought I was going to go into a couple of more things that has to do with this beast exercising all the power of the first beast, and also causing the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. But I think we're going to make a part 2 to Revelation 13, verse 12. All right, I think that was it for now. So with that, I hope this came through as sincere and edifying. And with that, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as the prophets of doom. And these are where I have learned this truth, and these are where I am still learning this truth. And also, shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I am of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.